Welcome to the Megawatts Media Rock and Roll Review. In this episode, we'll be discussing Van Halen. Please feel free to join in the discussion, the debate, and the rock and roll review in our comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe. So sit back and enjoy the ride. Welcome to the show, Megawatts Media. Today we're going to be discussing a topic because it's been in the news lately. Van Halen. Recently, Eddie Van Halen. They've been talking about his throat cancer and all the treatments that he's been going through. So, kind of as a tribute to him, we decided that would be our topic today is Van Halen. So, what I wanted to do is I wanted to get into the debate between lead singers David Lee Roth and Sammy Hagar.
Don't forget the other guy.
And of course, Gary Sharon. Can't forget Gary Sharon. Everyone knows that one. So what I didn't really want to get into too much about like who is the better lead singer and who you, because everybody has their own thoughts and right. Well, we can discuss that, but what I wanted to talk about is the actual debate, whether it's whether they actually hate each other or whether it was all manufactured just to sell albums or whatever, like a marketing scheme, I guess.
Well, I've got a theory on that.
Okay.
I think they've been known to do things like that in the past, and it definitely works for them. The MTV Music Awards, they kind of set that up into a fight to sell things and to get their name out there again, sort of thing. And I don't know if they hate each other like they're portrayed in the news and whatnot, but I think Dave could definitely get under people's skin and definitely get on people's nerves and piss people off.
Well, what David Lee Roth's been quoted saying, or what he's said in interviews, is that he, because of his interest in wrestling, in like WWE type wrestling, but going back, he grew up wanting to be a wrestler, and then he decided to make that his persona, and he said that's even where the spandex comes from, wrestling, and that's what he says in the interviews, is that he wanted to be a wrestler, so he wanted to be the bad guy of rock and roll, kind of the guy that everyone hates, but everybody...
He probably should have jumped over into the WWE, WWE or whatever it is, and he probably could have had a character in there.
There's a podcast with him and Stone Cold Steve Austin, and Stone Cold Steve Austin wanted to be a rock star, and so they kind of said it'd be good if they had a switch or something. But anyways, but what I think is that they might not like each other, which I don't think because they did a tour back in, I think it was around 2003 or 2004. David Lee Roth and Sammy Hagar did a tour called the Sans Halen Tour.
Yeah. We hate each other tour.
Yeah, but they said they didn't hate each other. They were doing it because they were the voices of Van Halen. They wanted to prove to Van Halen that they didn't.
What I remember at that time is that they were arguing over who was going to headline the concerts. So of course Dave thought he should headline, Sammy thought he should headline, and I remember something funny was like Sammy's like, oh, when they hear Can't Drive 55, it was like they just, the girls melt. This, and then Dave, what was his song that he was like,
well,
oh, if I come out with...
I just remember that, like, if David Lee Roth was the headliner, he would, while Sammy was playing, he would have a party or something, and then if it was the other way around, he would always make it so something was happening while Sammy was on stage and distract everyone from, so... The thing,
he'd come out with samurai swords or something.
Yeah, he would put on like a after party show. Like he'd open up and then have an after show. So everybody would want to come to his after because you get to hang out.
Assless chaps and
Yeah, like so. I don't know. This is the whole thing. Why, in my mind, I think like it's either. I almost have a debate in my mind whether it's manufactured or not because like I don't understand why they would do that because Van Halen. If you're a fan of Van Halen, which like a lot of people, there's got to be at least one song that you like by Van Halen, right? And they play like even if you don't like them, you gotta like one song by them, and they're played at like stadiums. They're like a pump up song. You know what I mean? Like you got Jump that everyone knows. Jump. You got for Sammy. You got Right Now, the Pepsi commercial thing or whatever. But I just don't understand why they would go through the trouble if it was manufactured just to keep them instead of putting a new song out or doing like I guess it would be easier just to have that go on. But that's why I don't know. What do you like if you think it's manufactured or do you think that they actually hated each other to the point where they would just that's all they like to me it's like if I was in Van Halen, all I would talk about is, oh, we got this new song coming out. I got this going on, because
personally, I think it's a sparring match that turned into an actual fight. I think it started off manufactured, and then their egos took over, and Dave just lets his ego fly too high, and it's just like he just goes with it, and he can't stop. He can't.
Well, I think it's either David Lee Roth or they know how like the managers know how to push his buttons or push both of their buttons to like because if you think about that ever you're being told all the time how great you are and then if somebody comes along the guy telling you you know what you're the lead singer you deserve to be off on your own and then feeding you stuff but can you believe what the old guys that you're with are saying you know what I mean so
I think it's like a Jerry Springer type thing.
Yeah, I don't know. It just seems like it seems stupid for them. Like they're both great. And okay, we'll go into this. Who do you think is better? Who do you Gary Sharon, which Gary Sharon and I think if you listen to his he was set up to fail because at the time when he came in everyone thought that's when they did the MTV thing. David Lee Roth was supposed to come back. So everybody
that was a total setup.
Right. So everybody thought David Lee Roth is back in 96 or whatever. I think that's when so everybody's freaking out. It's great. David Lee Roth's back in the band. Not that you don't like I don't have anything against Sammy Hagar, but when you hear David Lee Roth's back, you're like everyone gets excited. So then as soon as you think he's back, then they do the old switcheroo and they put Gary Sharon in. Which, if Gary Sharon, when you listen to him, he's got a great voice. Sings. He's the singer for Extreme. If you don't know who Gary Sharon is, but he can sing. He just didn't fit with Van Halen, I don't think, right? But that's the problem. Is he was like it's like anybody you put in there.
Yeah, but you did you think that Sammy Hagar was going to fit with Van Halen when David Lee Roth was out of the band and all of a sudden, we got Sammy Hagar. Did you think that was going to work?
I didn't think it until I saw the Live Without a Net. When that came out back when we were younger and I think we rented it or something.
Oh yeah, it was crazy awesome.
So that was like what 1986 I think or something 85 maybe I don't know. Anyways, 5150 came out. That came out, and I'm gonna say I don't know. So who would you pick out of the two, David Lee Roth or Sammy Hagar?
So I think David Lee Roth is a better frontman. Myself,
better showman,
and Sammy Hagar is a better singer.
Okay, so I'll agree with you with that, but this is what I'm gonna say, is that before I saw, Sammy Hagar, that's what I thought. I was like, David Lee Roth's better showman. One of the best shows I've ever seen was with Van Halen, Sammy Hagar singing. put on a great show. He interacted with the crowd. He obviously he's not doing the high flying kicks and stuff like David Lee Roth, but he interacted with the crowd, put on a great show. He made you feel like you're sitting around, like you know what I mean? Like he made you feel like it was like just sitting around a campfire, but like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like made you. So I like that about him. Then I always thought, well, you know what? David Lee Roth puts on an amazing show, but his vocals aren't great live. Then when I saw him solo live, he did a great show, put on a great, and his vocal sounded amazing. So both of them kind of went beyond my expectations of what, like, I thought, oh, Sammy's not going to put on a good show. Put on a great show. David Lee Roth is going to put on a great show. The vocals might not be there. And they both, so that's
okay, let me ask you this.
Okay.
If there was one concert left and you could have one of the singers with Van Halen, who would you pick? To see right now, like Eddie's gonna blast it out one more time. Who would you pick?
I don't know. Probably Gary Sharon.
Gary Sharon. Of course, Gary.
Just because I haven't seen it. Right? I haven't.
You're being serious.
No, because I don't know.
You know,
because
Gary would probably crush it.
he'd probably do a great job, but. No, I don't know. I can't. I don't even know if I can answer that question.
Have we ever seen Gary Sharon, like, do the Van Halen songs, like Dave's songs?
Oh yeah, he does.
And is he good?
Yeah,
because
That's why he. And it was weird because you would think that people would have liked that, but I think he was set up for failure, because everybody. It's like. You get this, the pedestal, David Lee Roth, and then they go, oh, no, we're going to give you Gary Sharon. And not that he's bad or anything, but I just think they were set up for something.
Like, what do you mean? Like, who was set? Like, what do you mean by set up?
Okay, they came out, remember the MTV thing?
Yeah, I know that was all.
They did the reunion. They did a new song with David Lee Roth. So 1996, they hadn't been together for like 10 years or whatever. They come out, they put out 2 new songs. Everybody thought David Lee Roth was back in the band. They were on stage together, everything. And then they went back and they said, nope, David Lee Roth's not in the band. It's Gary Sharon. So, I don't know. Like, that's why I think he was set up for failure. Like, and I think he did both songs, like both bands. He did Sammy Hagar songs. He did David Lee Roth songs. So
but who who would set him up for failure? Like, he was just like didn't have a chance. You're saying, like,
yeah. So what I'm saying is he didn't stand a chance, because if you're expecting David Lee Roth back, and then you get Gary Sharon, then of course you know like. That's where we're going at. Anyways, back to your question of who I'd pick. I'll tell you what my ideal concert would be, and then I'll tell you, I guess, who I'd pick. So I think what they should do, you get Michael Anthony back on bass, Wolfgang Van Halen playing rhythm guitar. You get, obviously, Eddie on lead. He can play keyboard, too. Right, have Wolfgang playing the guitar while he plays keyboard, right? You have Sammy and Dave sharing vocals, right?
okay.
Like, even they don't even have to be in the same room at the same time, right? They can have separate dressing rooms at different ends of the arena, whatever they got to do, right? You have Extreme open.
Oh, that would be cool.
Right? So then Gary, I still want Gary to be part of this. Have Gary come out, do a couple of his songs, right? With them. He'll be there too. You could have Chickenfoot, Sammy Hagar's solo band, or like the one with Joe Satriani. They could be part of it too. They could open up, have like almost like a festival, Like have,
Oh man, that's
and you could have
you're onto something. We should set this up.
you could have David Lee Roth do like so. Okay, so make it a 3-day festival or something. You have one night is Sammy Hagar's night. But then again, they'd fight over who's gonna go first, right? So you have Sammy Hagar. He could do like Chickenfoot, Montrose, his solo stuff, everything the one night. The next night, David Lee Roth does his solo stuff from Just a Gigolo to the Steve Vai stuff, all his solo stuff. Then you have the third night where it's Van Halen, have Extreme open for Van Halen, right? Have them take turns on the vocals.
Wouldn't that be cool? Like to have that. That is awesome.
Even if it was like a one-time thing or something like that, just have it. Everybody that's connected to Van Halen, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know.
It'd be neat if they all got along for 3 days.
Yeah, if they could do it before, I don't know. Hopefully everything's all right with Eddie and they can pull something like that. And so I don't know. And to answer the question, I don't know. I think I would like to see, I guess, Van Halen with David Lee Roth and Michael Anthony.
Oh, yeah, you can have that.
Just like because right now, like what they've been doing recently, like Wolfgang, obviously, I mean his dad's Eddie Van Halen. He's got to know something about playing bass, if he's, you know what I mean. So, I just think get Michael Anthony back in there because you got his backing vocals, but who knows? Maybe everybody just hates everybody, and it's like going into.
No, but it'd be so cool to have your idea. Like, I think we need to present this to somebody.
Wow, they'll probably hear this for sure. They're listening.
Yeah,
but I don't know. And if any, put in the comments what you guys think. If you guys are fans of Van Halen, if you don't know who they are, or if you're like that guy at the Tool concert that got Eddie to take his picture and didn't have any idea who he was. So if you're that guy and you want to know more about Van Halen, then look him up. So yeah, put in the comments, like, subscribe. Let us know if you want us to talk about any other bands, anything like that. And stay tuned for more videos.
Oh.